Hey folks, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of YOMO. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. I hope you guys have a good 4th of July and ready to get back to normalcy. And today we're doing book reflection 273. Interesting one, but I think it may or may not be in line with what we do at company. So we'll see. What do you
Yeah,
got, Chris?
yeah. So it's an interesting book. This one's a little bit off the beaten path. It's a book called Clanlands by Whiskey, Warfare, and the Scottish Adventure Like No Other by Sam Heughan and Graham McTavish. So Sam Heughan and Graham McTavish are the stars of the show on Stars called Outlander. Have you ever heard of Outlander before?
I've heard of them.
Yeah. So I had no idea what the show was. Never seen it. I don't know anything about it. For whatever weird reason, though, I've always been intrigued by Edinburgh, Scotland. It's always been just kind of like one of those bucket list places that I want to visit someday. And for some weird ass reason, like this book came across my radar. I don't know how. I really don't remember how I found this book. I think it was maybe because my cousin Erica is obsessed with the UK, Scotland, Ireland. She loves that show, The Last Kingdom. Have you ever seen that show, The Last Kingdom? Like all the Viking warriors and Valhalla and all this other crap. If you've never seen that show, The Last Kingdom on Netflix, it's really good actually. It's about England, the formation of England, basically, of like all the different little like sects and kingdoms and whatever fiefdom, whatever, like coming together, and they had their own little like areas of the island and stuff like that, and they came together to form England. Anyway, long story short, like that area of the world kind of has always fascinated me. Obviously, my last name is Sears, even though my mom's side of the family is Italian. My dad is primarily from England, Ireland, and UK and France, I think. So that's my dad's side of the family. So for some reason, I've always been intrigued by it. Somehow this book came across my purview, and I was like, yeah, sounds interesting. Book about clans in Scotland and whiskey, warfare, and Scottish adventure like no other. I was like, it sounds kind of cool. What I came to find out about this book was it's written by these two guys, Sam Heughan and Graham McTavish. They're the stars of this show called Outlander. This show Outlander is like a cult following, is a really big popular show. I don't know. I've never seen it, never heard of it. I didn't know anything of it. So I'm listening to this book and I'm learning more about the show and I'm learning more about them and how they even came to be on the show. And they're both Scottish, but they were working actors doing normal Hollywood stuff. The show opportunity came out, like they got cast for it. This Outlander show became a huge global sensation. These two somehow became de facto Scottish ambassadors to the world. So everywhere they go, they're now like, the show is all about old world Scotland and how the clans of Scotland in the, I don't know, I think like the 1700s or 1800s or something like that. And yeah, these two have become basically ambassadors of Scotland. Like people love them. They don't know that, they know them from the show, but they also love their own home, their own ancestry, right? So this book is about them exploring Scotland together, right? So it's kind of like a fun buddy comedy where you're learning about history. They're traveling around drinking whiskey and learning about the different clans and different cities, important events in Scottish history, and they're doing it all together. And it's kind of like a buddy comedy while their crazy crap is happening, and they're describing their journey together and going all around Scotland and exploring this stuff. So the reflection title for this one is "Oh, the places you'll go if you follow your purpose." So this journey has been wild for me in terms of, as we learned from The Alchemist in book 1, right? Like, when the universe, when you want something, the whole universe conspires to make it happen, right? And you follow the omens, you listen to what's going on out there. Well, this journey has taken me on many different areas of the world, whether it be with Eric Weiner's books, with the Geography of Genius or the Geography of Bliss, and learning about Iceland and Bhutan and Vienna and Edinburgh in one of his books as well. And like, all these places where I'm like, man, that sounds really cool. I want to go there someday. Right. And I write about it and I think about it and I'm like, oh, well, it's like, I'm into it. Or I learn about, all the different South African books I've read about Nelson Mandela's biography, the Lion Tamer's Guide to Life, Trevor Noah's Born a Crime, we just did a couple of weeks ago. There's like probably two other, I think, South African, The Elephant Whisperer. There was another one too, I think. Anyway, all these books are like, man, I'm going there someday. Like I've told you this. One of my reflections for The Elephant Whisperer is like, I will go to the Tula Game Preserve someday. I don't know when, but I will get there, right? Same thing with Edinburgh. I will get there after this book. It's just one of the places where my intrigue is peaked. And it made me start to think about Sam and Graham and their journeys together. Like they never wanted to be, they just were actors and they ended up being cast in this show where nobody had any idea if it's going to be any good or not. It turned into this mega sensation through their meaningful work and their meaningful relationships that they built with each other. They found they really loved their ancestry. They loved talking about Scotland. They loved learning about, like, the show is all about ancient history in Scotland, and they loved this stuff, and they became like a fixation for both of them. So after the show ended, or in between one of the seasons, they were like, let's do this. Like, they started this show called Men in Kilts, where they explored different areas of Scotland together. And then that led to this book called Clanlands, where they're writing more about the stuff, and they continue to explore their own history and things that they love. And they're doing the things that they love to do with somebody that they love to do it with. They became really close friends. They became really good buddies. One of them's in his 60s, the other one's in his late 30s. So they're a little bit of a mixed mash pair of different experiences, but they fit. They just fit. They care about the same stuff. They like the same things. They help each other get better at other things. And it's just amazing sometimes the places and the people that you'll find yourself surrounding yourself with when you follow your purpose. And that purpose leads you to meaningful relationships and meaningful work. It's just wild. Like, I mean, you end up with books like this where somebody's talking about it, and I'm learning about Scotland and history, and I'm thinking of places I want to go. As a matter of fact, my wife the other day, I'm turning 40. I'm 38 right now, but my 39th birthday is in about a month. This time of year is Wimbledon. I'm a huge tennis fan, and she knows that I want to go. That's always been a bucket list. I've been to Wimbledon just to visit it, but I've never been to Wimbledon, and that's like a bucket list event. So she was like, hey, you wanna go to Wimbledon for your 40th birthday next year? And I was like, that's a great idea. Then we can go to Edinburgh, and then we can go to Vienna as well. Like, I'm already planning out our next trip, and I'm super excited. I can't wait. We're gonna take Luca, I think, and maybe invite some of my other family members and just like go have a freaking great time. These books basically inspired me to want to go do. Like, I mean, Vienna was never on my radar before. Edinburgh was really never on my radar before until I started learning about it in a lot of these different books. And now I'm like fixated. I can't wait to go see it and put visuals to what I know already about these places and continue to further explore them and see what I learn, right? So it's, the places to go when you follow your purpose. Love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of the reflection we did earlier about learning is leading indicator of your purpose, right? What is it? So to me, it's along that line, just because whatever intrigues you is essentially searching for your purpose. And it sounds really awesome when you can find somebody who can share the experience. If you take Sam and Graham and say, okay, you guys are both on this show Outlanders, and you can both interested in your ancestry, but I guarantee you that without having them together, they would not have gone this far.
No.
I think it needs to have both elements for it to create this perfect storm of combinations to move forward. I think, there's still going to be some days when, whatever reason you're in this rut, and you need the other person's, enthusiasm to get you out of it. And to me, this is a perfect example of what we mean when we say meaningful relationships. This is one of the things that is a crucial ingredient in terms of what does meaningful work has to do with meaningful relationship. Because without meaningful relationship, there isn't meaningful work. But then at the same time, if there's no meaningful work, there's no meaningful relationship. Because if this guy was just regular actors, and then maybe they didn't get cast for Outlanders and didn't get the, peaked into the interest in terms of, what are they,
the history of their
there,
people. Like, they didn't know, they didn't care. They just were Scottish, they were like cool, but this is a period show, it's like a period piece.
You kind of open the learning thread, right?
Right.
That thread creates the curiosity, just like you are right now, because you already get a thread into this curiosity. So when you are planning for your 40th birthday, say, hey, I want to go to Edinburgh. Hey, I want to go here. I want to go there, because that thread has been attached to this, whatever that you start to expose to your purview. Right. And I think that creates the path for you forward, because having that, but then at the same time, if you can have somebody to share with, I think that's going to create this exciting journey. And to me, understanding that aspect of it creates an opportunity for you to orchestrate a solution, for you to say, hey, does anyone has a common interest in these places on your bucket list, for example? So if you get your wife interested, you guys are going to have really much fun. I guarantee you it's not as fun, and you're probably going to be, not even halfway, you as enthused as if you have somebody to share it with. I think, and that's what I'm saying is this piece of book, it relates to company in a lot of ways, because I think that's what we want to emphasize inside of company is, you have to have these two elements, and these two elements are important for you to have this awesome journey. And from my perspective, I think this journey, these guys' experiences is awesome. When it's not something that, it's not my ancestry, but I still feel very fulfill, you feel the excitement
Yeah,
for
yeah,
them
yeah,
in
right.
a way that, hey, I think it's good for them. It's
Yeah.
good that they found their thing, whatever that thing is, to be this
Man in
explorer
kilt.
of Clanlands or man in kilts or
Right,
whatever. They found that
right.
thing. Even from what you said, I can feel the happiness, the excitement, the enjoyment of life, and I think that's, it's a sense of purpose. I feel a sense of purpose from these two,
Mm.
and to me, that's
You can feel it in the
ultimately
book.
what company is. Ultimately, it's about trying to produce this kind of meaningful work and relationship and these kind of sense of purpose for people that come across us, as far as.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. This wouldn't be fun without you. Talking to somebody else about a book about Clanlands, sharing this reflection, like no joke, without a doubt, they would. I mean, I can't think of maybe one other person in my life that would even humor me of letting me explain this book to them. They'd be like,
Mhm.
what the fuck are you talking about, man? I mean, no joke, without a doubt. Like, I mean, so the fact that not only do you let me humor you with this, like you let me share my thoughts from it, and then we end up talking for an hour about it,
Right,
and
because we have that common thread, right? The
right,
common thread is
exactly,
you and I. Because the thing is, you think about it, your ancestry and my ancestry are probably completely different. There's
right,
no like overlap anywhere. But for us to be able to understand each other through this commonality of company, through this commonality of wanting to create meaningful work, meaningful relationship together, the common thread of having the desire to follow a purpose. That's why my opinions engages you and your opinion engages me, because for me, saying, yeah, that's part of what I
it's
want to
fun.
learn,
It's
right?
fun.
And,
Yeah,
and it when it aligns with you, then your gene, it goes in and it get enthused as well. Because
right.
if you talking to somebody without any kind of commonality, everything is about, okay, what's in it for me? Meaning, okay, it doesn't relate to me. Why do I care? So if you talk to me about something that I don't care about, then most of the time is I don't have anything to say to you. I mean, if you
Right.
think about it, even if I give you, 15 minutes to have an ear to listen to, I have nothing to say. There's nothing for me to say that is interesting,
Right.
because, right, there's nothing I can say, hey, okay, yeah, it's cool that they wear kilts. I never done it, So that's
Right.
what I'm saying is, there is nothing for me to pick it up on and say, well, this is interesting, this is exciting. I can see this, I can see that, I understand that, I can send this, right?
It's not
And
meaningful for you. I mean,
my point is, meaningful work has to have that deep connections,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And the deep connections creates the deep, meaningful relationship. Because the
Relationships.
thing
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying is, it's very, very hard to tell the two from each other, the meaningful
It
work and
is.
meaningful relationship.
It really is. I'm flashing back a little bit to my experience of this is an audiobook I did with them. And obviously they're actors, so they were entertaining, right? They were entertaining the shit out of themselves. You know what I mean? They
Right.
really were having fun doing this stuff. Like they were having fun exploring the history of their native country and sharing that with other people, and then also sharing that with each other primarily, honestly. Like they were just having a blast, man. I mean, but you're right. It's
They
like the
were just
subtle
it's just
little
exploring,
nuance.
right? They're just
Right,
exploring
exactly.
and learning from each other, and that's it's essentially similar to what you and I are doing. We're just exploring and we're learning from. Saying, hey, you say something about this, and I reflected on it. Say, yeah,
Right.
I understand from this perspective, and they say, yeah, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that perspective yet. But even though I'm the one who created the reflection, what True say is a little bit different. So
It is.
from
Yeah.
that perspective, if you start learning from each other, and essentially you are so focused and engaged in the flow of learning about things that aligns with you, whatever you do and whatever people see from the outside, it doesn't matter if people buy the book. It doesn't matter if people see Clanland and get influenced or whatever. They don't really care.
Nobody's listening to this podcast. So if they actually were to ever listen to this podcast, they'd be intrigued about balance, meaningful work, meaningful relationships, any of the stuff that we're doing, right?
Exactly. Right.
Like that's the only reason they'd be tuning into this at all in the first place. So the only reason why they would even stay tuned, like this is just a vehicle for us to be able to talk more about what we care about. And for them, Clanlands was a vehicle for them to go exploring about the shit that they cared about together. They cared about their fucking whiskey and warfare and the stuff they wrote about. Like they just cared about it, right? Like so, like they're not writing a book about Scotland. They're writing a book about stuff that they like, and it just happens to be Scotland together, and it happens to be something that they both share a common interest with. But the people that read this book most likely are going to have either some some desire to want to learn about Outlander or Scotland or whatever.
The thread of interest,
like,
the thread of curiosity, right? When you start to follow that thread, that path leads you to your purpose, and that purpose, right? The purpose of saying, hey, I have this kind of ancestry, and I'm interested in it. That learning leads you to your purpose, and that purpose will lead you to places. Like you just said, the places you go, you follow your purpose. As long as, like I've been saying, is
literally
don't constrain yourself from following that thread of curiosity, from following your purpose. Because people say, when you follow your purpose, you're being selfish. It's okay to be selfish because, I wouldn't respect you if you're not selfish because, that's how human nature. Because the thing is, Chris is, he knows what he wants. He go get it, To me, I say, good for him. I'm not gonna say, that guy is selfish, blah blah. I don't do that, and I don't know if most people are gonna say, hey, Chris, you shouldn't do that. You're supposed to be, a slave to society, blah blah.
You should be reading books about sales. You should be reading books about sales management and leadership. You should be reading books about the technology industry. Like, no, I don't care about it. Like, I don't.
But
like,
my point is, most people don't think that way. Most people say, hey, good for them. I wish I can be like him. You think about it, because they probably want the same thing. Because to me, people don't really pay attention to other people unless it has something that relates to them. So everything is about us. Everything is about them. So no one cares what you look like. No one cares what you do, Chris, unless there's something that you do and what they do relates to each other. Maybe that, like you were saying, is some people have like similar atomic bomb like you. They can relate with you. Then they can talk to you. But if they don't have that similarities to you, similar problems, similar background, they don't really care, right? And so why do you need to present yourself in this image to society? Hey, I'm this, law obeying citizen, and I'm like, the
keeping up
society
with the
and the
Joneses,
most keeping into the Joneses and blah blah. I say, who gives a shit? Because like I say, if you buy a Tesla, for example, buy because if for your enjoyment. Don't buy because you want people to say, hey, Chris, you're impressive. Because from my perspective, right, if I saw I saw you driving a Tesla, what do I imagine? I imagine me in your Tesla driving it. So that's all I see. I don't look at you and say, hey, Chris, that guy's impressive. No, because it has nothing to do with you.
Agreed.
Drive a Tesla only because you want to enjoy a Tesla, not because you want other people to say you're impressive. Because no one gives a shit. I don't care if you bring in some $2 million Lamborghini. I'm not gonna think that you're impressive. I'm gonna say, well, that's this nice car. I imagine myself inside the car and say, ooh, this is nice.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. So whatever your goal was for me to think about you, just like went out the window.
It's so funny you just mentioned this whole Tesla conversation and what you're saying in general, because remember how we've talked about, when's the right time to fire somebody, when's the right time to leave your spouse or significant other, when's the right time to quit your job, when's the right time to make a major life decision, right? And the consensus that we've come to, and I think that we both agree on this, is probably the first time that you really think about it in a serious nature of like, I don't think my wife is right for me. You can spend the next 5 years in couples counseling or whatever. You can try, you can fight, whatever. But at the end of the day, thought is only going to spiral worse and worse and worse. Once it's in your head and planted in your head, it just doesn't come out. I don't drive my car very often at all. I drive to like tennis matches like twice a week, basically. I take Luca every morning to daycare, which is literally a 2.5 minute, maybe 3 minute car ride away. And I go to the grocery store. I drove to my parents' lake house. Every once in a while, it's like special events when I need to drive a longer distance, right? I don't need a nice car. I don't probably need a car. I could probably just Uber everywhere that I wanted to go at this point in time in my life, or just have one car in our house and take Luca to school in the morning and wait till my wife comes home before I need to leave or whatever. I could probably get by with only one car as a family if we really wanted to. So I say all this with the caveat of knowing like driving is not important to me. However, my car, I bought it brand new in 2011. I was 20. What year is this? 2023. 12 years ago. So I was 26, right? I was 26 years old. I didn't have kids. I had a home. I had a mortgage, but it wasn't crazy expensive or anything like that. I made good money buying a $35,000 car at the time, right? I think I have a Mini Cooper Countryman. So it was like a brand new car. It really fit my personality at the time. It still does. I still like it. It's a good car, whatever. There's nothing wrong with it. However, it's now almost 12 years old at this point in time. It's got like
Right.
120,000 miles on it. Like it's got a lot of maintenance needs that need to be done to it. I have like a cracked windshield. I got a big dent in my door, the side door from somebody hitting it, like, you know, at one point in time. My hatch, when I pull it up and, you know, put something in the wintertime, like the little hydraulics sometimes freeze and like it keeps hitting me in the head, you know, kind of thing. But long story short, my wife also has a Prius. We bought them a month apart from each other. So she bought her Toyota Prius in 2011 as well. A month apart from when I bought my car. We weren't married at that point in time, but we were living together. So it was kind of funny that we decided, hey, let's just get 2 new cars together. She was like 24, I was 26, and we got 2 new cars, right? So she has like 100,000 miles in her car. It's getting old now, but it's still just fine. Like it's fine. Anyway, look, long story short, I'm setting the stage to say, like, for a long time, these cars have been paid off now for like 8 years. We've had no car payments for 8 years. We've owned our cars. I don't really care. My friends have got nice new cars, but I'm like, it's fine. I don't care. I you know, at a certain point in time, I kind of find some humor in like rolling up, knowing that I make plenty of money to afford a brand new nice car if I want to, but it's kind of fun rolling up in a car that's not as nice anymore, you know. And I'm just like, I don't really care. My son's throwing shit all over the place in it, you know. Like, you know, it's I don't care. I don't clean the milk off my leather seats after he throws his fucking bottle everywhere. So I say all this to say, very recently, about 6 months ago, my wife said something to me that kind of made me laugh a little bit. One of my 22-year-old teachers, she's the principal of a charter school. You know, she makes more money now than she's ever made in her career, like almost $100,000 a year or something like that, which for an educator is pretty sizable, I would say. You know, her 22-year-old employee that makes like half of what she makes has a way nicer car than she has. And then pretty much every other employee that she has in the school drives a way nicer car. And she's supposed to be the boss. I work for prestigious software companies. I'm also supposed to be the boss. Obviously, my team doesn't see me drive in every single day. But honestly, if they did, if I went to go pick them up from the airport, if they flew into Indy and I was taking them out around town, I'd be like, I'm kind of embarrassed to show you my car, honestly. I would be pretty embarrassed. Side note, every time that, like, I only go to pretty much tennis matches, but, you know, tennis is a sport that is a country club-ish kind of sport. So a lot of people that play it, a lot of my friends that I play tennis with are also, you know, wealthy-ish upper middle class professionals that drive Audis and Teslas and BMWs and whatever, and they roll in with their nice car, and I roll in with my car making weird ass noises, and my brakes are squeaking because I need to get them changed, and I got a crack in my windshield, and it's kind of embarrassing. Like, for the longest time, I didn't really care at all. But about 6 months ago, I got that idea in my head of like, man, we probably should get a new car. My wife said after this whole thing with one of her employees, she was like, I'm kind of just embarrassed to drive my car into the school. Like, I'm supposed to be the principal. I don't want my kids to see, you know, the kids in
But isn't
the
that
school to see, like,
isn't that
yeah.
what the thing is? People don't give a shit about what you drive.
They don't, but they do. I mean, everybody would look at
they think
right,
that
exactly.
hey, as this boss, you should
Right.
have a nicer car than me, right? And so you are basically doing what society expects you to do,
Oh, I know.
rather than
I know.
you want to keep up the image. So this is exactly what I'm saying.
But true. But goes back to, when's the right time to buy a new car? Probably the first time that you really think about buying a new car. And like, it's been stuck in my head for 6 months, and I'm fighting it every single day. I'm like, I don't need a new car. I mean, that's stupid. Like, I barely drive. This is stupid. I do not need to go have $1,000 a month car payment on a new Tesla or whatever. Teslas are what like, my wife and I have decided we're going to go look at cars, and it's going to be a Tesla, only because they have this EV tax credit, and they've reduced the prices of Teslas like $20,000 or whatever, you know, to get it under that threshold that the government said.
But
Plus, you get a tax credit.
it doesn't have to be Tesla. You can get other hybrid and still
I
get
looked it up. There's basically no other ones out there that are even appealing to me in any way, shape, or form. So this is like the only car that's even remotely appealing to me, even though I don't want a Tesla, but I was like, I want a car that's more like a software platform that's going to be updated in the future. Most cars are probably going to go toward electric vehicles anyway. I feel like this is the right logical choice. If I have to get a new fucking car, I feel like this is probably the car that I'm being directed to go
This is
buy.
not the Chris.
I know.
This is not the Chris I know.
I don't want a car. I don't need a new car. We're only going to buy one new car, and she's going to drive it to school every day, and I'm only going to drive it to tennis matches. I'm still going to keep my car. We're going to trade in her car because it's probably worth more than mine. Conspicuous consumption versus inconspicuous. It's almost comical that you're saying this, because I was chuckling to myself, because I'm like thinking, well, I have like 3 friends that have recently bought Teslas, and I'm like, God damn it, I don't want to be that person that rolls up in a Tesla with the 4 people coming to a dinner party and we all have our Teslas, and I'm like, oh fuck, like, I don't want to be that person. I like having a beater ass car, you know. I actually do. I like having a beater ass car, and we're gonna keep one beater ass car, you know. I'm good with that. but we have to have at least one to have my wife feel good about when she rolls into school. I don't know, man. We're walking.
I mean, she's not in company, so you can't really constrain
true.
her because it's a torture for her.
It is.
Because she cares about what she thinks, what people think.
Her students. It's really her students. She wants her students to see her as a role model, and.
But the thing is, this is the problem. Her student don't give a shit. She thinks that her student thinks, right? That's the problem. The problem is that we think that other people think that we need to be a certain way.
Right.
So people, in reality, the people out there, they don't give a shit, right? They say, hey, I need Tesla because I need to impress somebody, right? They don't say, hey, the principal should be more, has more money, they spend more money than me. Because they make more money. See, when you make more money, you have to spend more money. You should have a nicer house. You should have a nicer car. You should spend more. You should pay for a lunch. You should do a bunch of all this shit. See, but the thing is, that is what we expect from society. Right. That's what I'm saying is, in reality, I don't really care. I mean, I don't ever look at my boss and say, hey, he drives, a dipshit car. And I drive, a Mercedes or whatever. I don't really care. I have my own problems. And hey, how the fuck am I gonna pay for this bill? What do I make for dinner? How do I do this? I don't give a shit. I have more problems to deal with than to think about you and your stupid car.
Right.
I do that, right? If I do that, I'm already a judgmental person already. So who give a shit my opinion in that case? Because the thing is, that's what I'm saying is like I say, hey, if you say you want to be that you are world class. That you're not world class because it just it can't happen. If you say I'm not crazy, then I am crazy because that's the way it works. Because the moment you claim to be something, that means that you don't have it. That's why you want to claim it. When a person judge you, right? They have no right to judge you. But the person who have the right to judge
look at me.
you,
I'm wearing a fucking hoodie.
Judge you.
I got this gross ass beard going on. I'm wearing a hoodie. I look like a homeless person right now. I drive this car that like I mean it's almost like comical. Like at a certain point in time, I actually enjoy I love like I don't know what it is about this, but I like knowing that I fit in this place, but also at the same time going, I choose to fit in over here though. I know that
you can't say, oh, I'm gonna go and live in this, pristine Arctic place where the water is crystal clear, blah blah. Say, I need some trash. I'm not comfortable without anything. I'm a fucking trash panda. I belong where I belong.
That's so funny.
So for you to say, hey, I gotta keep up with the image, like, okay.
Nobody knows what car I drive.
Because then you think about it, if you are a trash panda personality, you go to a fucking like nice car, it's like, oh shit, I can't do anything. I can't even.
I know. I can't like. I can't. I gotta keep it clean all the time.
I have muddy tennis shoe. Oh, I gotta be careful. It's like, fuck. I mean, it's like you self inflict yourself onto this misery, right? But when your car's messy, like, oh, it's a little bit dust on my shoe, no problem. I guess
I spilled Cheerios all over the backseat of my car on Tuesday when we were driving to the lake, and I heard it. Like my wife gave him the Cheerios and she's eating it, and I hear this.
Right, but the thing is that when you have the new car, you say, oh shit, and you get mad, mad, and your blood boil for fucking what reason, right? But you have a cheap car, say, so you don't even blink an eye just because. But you have a nice Tesla, and say it devalue your car. It's like. You get frustrated, right?
Oh, yeah.
You get frustrated.
He dumped his Cheerios all over the backseat of my brand new.
Exactly, is being in jeopardy because you have this blood boil like episode of getting angry and you lose your senses.
You've talked me out of it.
Let your wife do whatever she wants. Because, like I say, she doesn't understand what we do in company. Let her do it. Don't ever constrain her. Like I won't constrain my wife because she don't understand. But for you, you know better.
I don't care like what car I drive. It's more of a.
So let her let her buy the Tesla, and you can drive sometime you want. But when you can't take the pressure, just go back to your cheap ass car and just do whatever you need to do with it.
It's not a cheap car. I mean, it's
not.
A nice car.
It's not. I mean, it's a nice car.
It was once a nice car.
It's a nice car, and it's as long as it drives and as long as it's function, it's the best car because you're comfortable in it.
I am. My butt's nice and worn on the seat, and like there's even a little split in the leather next to it. Where it's like where I've sat in it for 12 years. I used to actually drive a lot because not a lot. I mean, when I had to drive to the office every day, I worked about 25 miles away from my house, so like it was like 50 miles a day at least, probably at least filling up every 5 days or something like that for a pretty good fuel efficient car. I don't even know that I fuel up more than once every 3 weeks at this point in time. That's only because I maybe had to drive to a few far tennis matches a couple times. It's just such a different world.
I mean, your car is pretty. It's not a cheap car. It's a very luxury car.
It was not anymore.
Well, compared to when you bought it.
I'm actually curious. What is a Kelly Blue Book on? You don't have to. You can keep talking. I was just gonna look this up. I was just kind of curious. What is my car's value?
I mean, when you buy your car has its value, which is a above average luxury car. So it's not a cheap car to begin with. So yes, it has its age, and you have been using it, but to me, it's a pretty nice car, regardless of how old it is, because it's your car, the car you grow up with. It's been 12 years old. It provides for you for a long time, and it has its character.
Agreed.
And to me, it's like that's more comforting than having a new car. Because to me, a new car is nice only for the moment that you feel like, oh, I'm aligning with the image of what people need to think of, who I'm supposed to be, blah, blah. But it only lasts that long because until I realize that people don't give a shit. It's like, shit, I'm paying all this money for what?
Right.
I miss my old car.
Dude, I would miss it. Like, I mean, honestly, like I said, I'm kind of like worn in. Wow, that's nothing. Like shit. Like my trade-in value is $5,000. That's crazy. That's a private party. Yeah, that's a little bit better, but whatever. Either way, like I think my wife's car is probably worth more than mine is at this point in time. I'd be curious what hers is worth. But I don't know how we even got on this conversation. But
the Tesla guy.
That's right.
You want to buy the Tesla, and you thought about buying a Tesla, and you say that
we went to go look on Sunday. Ironically, so we had to go I think I told you we had to go to this concert for one of my friend's 40th birthday parties on Saturday because Luca stayed with my aunt. We were gonna go pick him up early in the morning, and she was like, no, I want to keep him. And I'm like, okay. Like we had no idea what to do. We were lost. So we decided, well, let's go eat breakfast together, and then maybe let's go look at a car because we've been talking about it for 6 months. We haven't officially made that step. So we go we go to this nice little brunch spot, we eat breakfast, and we're looking up, where the nearest Tesla dealership is, which was like 15 minutes away from us or something like that. And my wife goes on there to look to make sure they were open, and they were closed for some weird ass reason. On a Sunday they were closed, and we're like, oh damn it, so like that blew our whole that was the first step that we've made toward going to look at the damn car, but we almost did it on Sunday, so it'll happen again. I have a feeling.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I'm feeling your wife won't let it go. So
she doesn't even want a Tesla. I'm the one that's pushing her to go get a Tesla just because I'm like, I feel like that's the right decision to make for a car. Anyway, who knows where this will go. The TBD on this one. All right. I feel like I'm purged for this one. Any final thoughts on where the places your purpose
just
to take
follow the omens, just like I said, the thread of curiosity. Where it leads you, you will be fulfilled in what you find, right? Whatever it is you're interested in, your genes and your DNA is going to say, wow, this is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to let you have peace, and I'm going to give you this euphoric feeling. That to me, that's what purpose is about.
Agreed. And not only that, I will add on to that. Randomly, you will meet other people on the way that care about the same stuff. And then those people become your meaningful relationships as well. And then it makes it all that more fun,
Meaningful work, meaningful relationship is the yin and yang. It has to go together. So watch out for it.
Yeah. It's not even worth it if you can't find that meaningful. If you're ever doing something that's a really meaningful work project, you don't have a meaningful relationship that you've built around it. I've heard this a million times on how I built this podcast. So really, really make sure you have a co-founder, that's, I mean, you can call it whatever you want to call it.
But the thing is,
it's a co-founder.
It's about, and the thing is, you can't really find them because you have to live your core values.
Yes.
and it attracts, and then
they find each other, like yeah,
it attract.
right.
I mean, they hey, for some reason they sense to come together,
Right.
and so to me, purposely live out your purpose.
Right.
And if you want to find a relationship, but watch out for, because a lot of times, if you think that something you do is lining with you, but you don't have somebody to work with, that to me it won't last. So just think of that as a transition. So don't say, hey, I'm going to take this forever, because you can't do it, because you have this roller coaster. Some days you're going to be out of it, and you need that
Right.
person to pick you up and to get you out of that rut, right? And
Agreed.
sometimes you're going to have to pull them out of the rut, and that's why at least two people, I think, optimally two people.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think two people is the most optimal in terms of the yin and the yang, right? Because
I mean, I agree with that. Actually, I actually do agree with that.
they're not aligning perfectly. When with
Right.
two people, they have the strength and weaknesses covers each other, and that align, like it's. But have a third person, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but it's a little bit rarer to have the combinations of all three people that align perfectly in like a gear, like the teeth on a gear. So to me, two people is probably more common for you to find. It's easier, more probable for you to find another person that aligns with your core value, and you basically going to do things with them, and that whatever you do thing with them, that's a journey without an end.
Yeah.
If you do something by yourself, it will end. I guarantee you will. But to me, that's okay too. But we understand that it's going to be a transition. You won't continue to do that forever. But whatever you do, to me, it doesn't. You don't even think about the end. You don't want it to end.
Agreed. I think that's very well said. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining. The question we can leave with everybody is, where's your purpose leading you? And glad we're able to round out this week finally with a somewhat of a normal night. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody on Monday.
Yeah, sounds good. Good night, brother.